Yo, what is up, fam? It's your boy Legend, and I am back with another video. You already know what this is just by looking at the thumbnail. What if Naruto and Sasuke was sent to the Highschool DxD Universe? If you guys like the video, make sure to hit that like button. Like goal for this video is going to be 5 likes, so hit that like button. That way you can get it to the like goal, and I can upload another part faster. But without further ado, let's just get into this intro so we can start this immaculate what if. The door slammed behind them with sharp finality, rattling the frame. Naruto's steps were heavy as he entered the shared home. His jaw clenched, his eyes still glowing faintly with residual chakra, traces of the Kyuubi's golden power flickering like dying embers behind his pupils. Rainier watched him from just a step behind, biting her lip, her wings twitching. She could still feel it, that raw, violent power he'd unleashed when Issei charged her. The way he had moved. It was like time had frozen. One moment, Issei was shouting something stupid, his aura trembling with rage, and the next, he was embedded into the church wall, coughing blood, wide-eyed with shock. And Naruto had been a god in that moment. Her pulse had yet to slow down. Sasuke entered last, quietly shutting the door behind them. Calhoun stuck close to him, silent but tense. Her breathing hadn't returned to normal since that golden wave of energy had rolled over her back at the church. It had pressed her down, made her legs weak, and her wings collapsed. She crumpled to the floor like a puppet with its strings cut. And Sasuke, he stood in that same golden inferno without flinching, hands calmly in his pockets. It was like the power hadn't even registered to him, or worse, like he'd seen worse and didn't consider it a threat. Now she sat beside him on the living room couch, hip to hip. She didn't dare move, didn't dare speak, but she could feel the warmth radiating from his side. Her cheeks were burning. I should have ended him, Naruto muttered, his voice low and razor-edged, vibrating with restrained violence. He stood in the hallway facing the dark well, as if trying to talk himself out of turning around and marching back to finish what he'd started. Rainier reached out and touched his arm gently. You didn't. You listened to me. Only because you asked, he snapped, but his tone softened the moment he turned to her. She looked up at him, her eyes glowing faintly violet in the low light of their home, and Naruto's anger broke against the shore of her presence like a wave receding into calm water. She stepped closer, her voice husky. That power, the way you moved to protect me, Naruto, you terrified me. He opened his mouth to apologize, but her finger touched his lips. Terrified me in the best way, she whispered. In the living room, Calhoun tensed as she heard the subtle shift of footsteps and the creak of a door. Naruto's bedroom. She glanced at Sasuke. He hadn't moved. His expression was unreadable, those midnight eyes staring blankly at the far wall. But she saw it, the way his fingers twitched slightly when she shifted her leg against his, the way he hadn't pulled away. Calhoun swallowed thickly. She didn't know what to say. She was a fallen angel, a former enemy, or was supposed to be, now sharing a roof with the boy who had nearly crushed the church under the weight of his presence, and the other one who just stared it down like a storm that didn't impress him. Sasuke, she said, almost too quietly. He turned his head, acknowledging her. She wanted to say something flirty, light, and playful, but what came out instead was, why didn't it affect you? That power, it felt like it was pressing on my soul. He was quiet for a beat before responding, because I've seen worse. The way he said it, not arrogantly, not boastfully, it made her chest tighten. There was a sadness there, a wariness that chilled her deeper than the heat of chakra ever could. Yet she leaned in closer. Something about the distance he carried made her want to close it. Meanwhile, behind the closed door of the bedroom, Rainier had locked it. Naruto was seated on the edge of the bed, head lowered, the adrenaline slowly bleeding out of his veins. He felt her hands on his shoulders, her breath against his neck. I've never seen you like that, she whispered into his ears, fingers trailing down his chest. He didn't respond, but the tension in his muscles told her enough. You are beautiful, she murmured. Naruto flinched slightly. I'm not. You are? To me, she interrupted, stepping in front of him, straddling his lap in a slow, unhurried motion. To me, you're everything. Rainier's violent eyes bore into his, hunger gleaming beneath the surface. Not just lust, though that was burning white hot, but something deeper. Obsession, possession, gratitude, awe. She leaned forward and kissed him. It wasn't gentle, it was delicate. It was the kind of kiss that demanded everything, that said, you belong to me now. Naruto responded before he even realized he had, his arms wrapping around her waist, pulling her against him. Her wings extended behind her in a shudder of movement, shivering as her chest pressed flush against his. His hands wandered to her back, her curves, the soft fabric of her top giving way to warm skin beneath. She moaned softly into his mouth, grinding her hips forward just enough to make her point. I want you, she whispered against his lips. Tonight, right now. Naruto's breath hitched, his body responding before his mind could. Are you sure? Rainier smiled. I've never been more sure of anything. She kissed him again, deeper this time, more slowly, savoring every inch of his mouth, the taste of his chakra still lingering on his skin. She pulled back just enough to guide him onto the bed, her body draped over his. Outside, the rest of the house was silent, save for the soft hum of nighttime energy, a house trying to return to normal after the chaos of earlier. Kyle still sat beside Sasuke, the silence between them thick. Sasuke? She said again, softer this time. He glanced at her, his expression still unreadable. I'm not brave like her, she admitted, glancing toward the closed bedroom door. But I wanna be. She raised an eyebrow. Brave? To reach out, she whispered, turning to face him more fully. To try again after everything, after all the terrible choices. Sasuke turned his head and his gaze sharp but not unkind, then start. Her heart pounded, so she did. She reached out and took his hand. It was a small gesture, simple, innocent even. But for her it felt like jumping off of a cliff. Sasuke didn't pull away. She nearly burst into tears. Back in the bedroom, the intensity between Naruto and Rainier had deepened. Clothing lay scattered along the floor in pieces, the sheets tangled beneath their entwined bodies. Her wings trembled with every brush of his hands. Her voice breathy in his ear. You make me feel real, she whispered. Naruto's forehead pressed against hers, his breath warm, their skin slick with heat and sweat. You are real. Their lips met again, and everything else faded into golden warmth of violet fire. Alright, if y'all don't know what happened, They they became adults, basically. If y'all know what that means. The sun filtered gently through the trees surrounding Kuo Academy, casting golden slants of light across the school grounds. Students milled about the front gates in scattered groups, conversations buzzing with the usual mix of anticipation and boredom that came with the start of the school day. But the moment Naruto Uzumaki walked onto campus, hand in hand with Rainier, that casual hum of life paused, if only for a beat. His presence radiated confidence, not just in the chakra sense, but in the way his eyes moved, how his expression held a relaxed, almost unshakable calm. Rainier clung to his side, her steps light, violet eyes gleaming with something more than pride. Possession, devotion. Just a few steps behind them, another pair walked silently. Colwarner's face was dusted with a fresh blush, her fingers laced shyly with Sasuke's. Her steps had a rare bounce to them, satisfaction radiating from her aura like heat from a flame. She didn't try to hide it. She was proud to be beside him. Sasuke Uchiha, however, seemed less comfortable with this arrangement. His hand remained in hers, but his eyes were cast forward, face partly turned away. A faint blush colored the tips of his ears. He was a man unaccustomed to public affection, especially after everything he'd been through, but he didn't let go. That in itself said more than words ever could. They were halfway across the school courtyard when someone noticed them, and really noticed them. Tsubaki Shinra. She had just rounded the corner with a set of papers in her hand, heading toward the student council office, when her gaze locked onto Sasuke and Colwarner. She froze. The papers slipped from her hand. For a second, her brain refused to register what she was seeing. Colwarner holding Sasuke's hand, smiling like she'd won the lottery. Tsubaki's heart twisted. She had admired Sasuke from afar for months now, ever since he appeared like a shadow among them, his presence stark and cold, but quietly magnetic. She'd studied him, respected his discipline, the weight he carried in silence, and even though she never gathered the courage to confess, she thought maybe someday. But now she was watching her chance vanish with every quiet step he took beside Colwarner. Tsubaki spun on a heel and stormed away, her composure cracking as tears began to pool in her eyes. She didn't stop when students called out to her, didn't stop when Sona's familiar voice reached across the courtyard asking if something was wrong. She just walked faster, eyes burning, the world blurring around her. Naruto caught it all. He watched her round the corner, her usual grace replaced by trembling anger and pain. He didn't need the Byakugan or the Sharingan to see what had happened. His instincts told him enough. Rainier noticed his shift in attention. "What is it?" she asked, her tone cautious. He turned to her with a slight smile. "Want to go on a rescue mission?" She blinked, confused. "Rescue?" "Emotional rescue," Naruto replied. "Come on." Rainier still didn't get it, but she nodded without hesitation. "Alright, lead the way." The two broke from the group, hand in hand, walking the path Tsubaki had taken. It didn't take long. They found her at the top of the stairs near the student council office, her hand trembling against the door handle. "Tsubaki!" Naruto called out gently. She froze. Her breath hitched, and for a moment she debated whether to run inside or pretend she hadn't heard. But then she turned slowly, her eyes red-rimmed and glassy. Naruto and Rainier were already walking toward her, their joined hands still swinging casually between them. Rainier tilted her head curiously, but it was Naruto who spoke first. "You okay?" Tsubaki blinked rapidly, quickly, wiping under her eyes with her sleeve. "I'm fine. Did you need something, Uzumaki?" Naruto's gaze softened. I saw what happened with Sasuke and Kawuner. Her eyes narrowed, her voice sharp. That's none of your business. Rainier raised a brow. Wait, that's what this is about? She paused, then laughed lightly. Girl, you've got nothing to be bad about. Tsubaki blinked. Excuse me? Rainier stepped forward with a sly smile. Kawuner is flexible. She has fantasies, of being dominated by her boyfriend and another woman. Tsubaki's jaw dropped. What? Naruto raised an eyebrow at Rainier, his cheeks coloring slightly. You're just gonna say that out loud, huh? Rainier smirked. Why not? She deserves to know. She's still got a shot. Tsubaki stared between them, her face turning crimson. So, I still have a chance with him? Rainier nodded without hesitation. Of course. Kawuner's not the jealous type. She'd be open to arrangements. The implication made Tsubaki's brain short circuit. She glanced at Naruto, then looked quickly away, cheeks glowing. There was something comforting in his calm gaze, something magnetic in those cerulean eyes that pulled at her. I didn't know, she murmured. You do now, Naruto said kindly. Just take your shot. Life's too short for regrets. Rainier nudged her playfully. And hey, worst case, you end up in a steamy situation with two incredibly attractive people. Boo-hoo, right? Tsubaki gave a weak laugh despite herself. Thanks, she said softly. I think I needed that. Naruto smiled, then turned to leave. Let's go, Ray. As they walked away, Rainier gave Tsubaki a wink. Trust me, you've got the looks. Tsubaki stood there, heart thundering, cheeks warm, watching them disappear down the hall. Maybe today wasn't as terrible as she thought. Elsewhere in the school, the atmosphere was tenser. Issei Hyodo sat stiffly in his seat in the occult research club room, face pale and strained despite Rias's healing magic. There were still hairline fractures in his spine, and every tiny movement sent dull shocks of pain rippling through his back. Sitting up straight was a test of endurance. Turning his head, agony. Sneezing, unthinkable. Ria stood by the window, arms crossed, guilt shadowing her face. I'm sorry, Issei. I did what I could, but healing magic has its limits when it's done in a rush. Issei groaned. Yeah, I noticed. The Keno sat with one leg crossed over the other, sipping tea calmly. She hadn't said a word since he walked in. Truthfully, she didn't feel bad. Rainier or not, Issei had it coming. Kaneko was curled up on the couch, appearing indifferent, but her golden eyes kept drifting to the window. She hadn't been able to forget that golden chakra that flooded the church that night before. That warmth. It had pushed her to her knees. But it hadn't felt cruel. It was powerful, terrifying, but there was something kind in it too. Something ancient and steady, like the sun cresting over the horizon. It made her heart race, and her body react in ways she didn't understand. She didn't know what kind of power it was, but it made her curious, very curious. Are you sure Naruto should still be allowed here? Issei asked, his voice laced with bitterness. Rias glanced over. You tried to attack his girlfriend, Issei. What did you expect would happen? I thought you guys had my back, he muttered. Akeno sat her cup down, her smile cold. Maybe. Don't attack women in the future. Just a thought. The room went quiet again. Kaneko stood and walked toward the door. I'm going to the courtyard. Rias called after her. Kaneko, class starts soon. Kaneko didn't stop. I won't be long. She needed air. She needed to get her thoughts in order. And part of her hope, just maybe, she'd run into that strange chakra again. Into him. Out near the gymnasium, Naruto leaned against the wall as Reiner adjusted his collar with a satisfied smirk. You're really collecting admirers, you know, she said. Am I? He asked, tone dry. Tsubaki, Kaneko, I'm pretty sure, and let's not even get started on Akeno. Naruto groaned. Akeno's dangerous. She's also hot, Reiner teased. And she might be the kind of crazy that you need. I already have my hands full with you. Reiner smirked and kissed him on the cheek. Flatterer. Naruto looked up at the sky, the wind brushing his face. Things were getting more complicated by the day, but somehow, with Reiner beside him, it didn't feel overwhelming. It just felt right. Little did he know, eyes were already watching them. From the rooftop above, Kaneko crouched silently, her eyes focused on him. Her heartbeat quickened. That warmth, it was still there. And so was her curiosity. Time skip. After school, occult research club room. The sun had long dipped below the horizon, casting the city of Kuo in golden twilight glow. Inside the occult research club room, the air was thick with tension. Rias Gremory stood near her desk, arms crossed, her crimson eyes staring intently at her older brother as he stepped forward. Sasuke Lucifer, one of the four great Satans, wore a rare, serious expression. Beside him stood Seraphal Leviathan, uncharacteristically grim, and the ever-composed Graphia Lucifuge. Their sudden arrival had sent shockwaves through the student council and the ORC alike. We didn't come here for a diplomatic visit, Sasuke began, his tone grave. We felt it. Something not only powerful, but completely foreign. Chakra unlike anything we've encountered. It far exceeds Satan class levels. We couldn't risk waiting. So we handled our affairs in the underworld and came immediately. Rias nodded solemnly, then turned to Kiba. Kiba, go inform Sona and bring her peerage here. Tell her it's urgent. With a sharp bow, Kiba vanished in a flash of speed. Rias faced the group again. You should know something. This wasn't just random. We were dealing with some rogue exorcist and fallen angels, but by the time we arrived, someone had already dealt with them. Seraphal blinked. Who? Rias hesitated. Two individuals, two men with their girlfriends. Sasuke arched an eyebrow. And? Rias took another breath. Their girlfriends are fallen angels. The reaction was immediate. Graphia's eyes narrowed, a flicker of alarm flashing behind her icy mask. Seraphal's smile dropped, and Sasuke took a full step forward, his aura steadily rising. Go on, Graphia said. They ruined my plan, Rias said bitterly, trying to maintain composure. I was trying to reincarnate a new bishop. She has a sacred gear, twilight healing. But before I could act, Issei tried to confront one of the fallen angels. And? Seraphal asked, voice low. Her boyfriend, Naruto, got angry. Furious. He nearly killed Issei. The only reason he stopped was because she held him back. Rias paused, frowning. That burst of chakra you felt? That was him. The door opened again as Kiba returned, leading in Sona, Seatree, and her peerage. They filed in neatly, all composed until they sensed the atmosphere. You felt the chakra too? Rias said, turning to Sona. But you didn't know it was from him. Sona gave a small nod. It was otherworldly. Serzex exchanged a glance with Seraphol. We need to meet them. Assess them directly. Griffia bowed slightly. I'll go now. Time skip. Naruto's ramen shop. Warm light spilled in through the windows of Naruto's ramen shop. A modest yet cozy building tucked between businesses. Inside, the smell of pork broth, soy, and spices wafted through the air as Naruto and Sasuke weaved through the bustling crowd. Order up! Naruto called, sliding 2 bowls onto a tray with his ever charismatic grin. Uncle Guga, these are for table 4. You got it, boss. A large, cheerful man barked back, already balancing the tray with one hand. Sasuke, meanwhile, moved with quiet efficiency, taking orders with a cold stare that somehow made customers tip more out of sheer intimidation. In the corner, Kalwiner wiped down the tables while Rainier adjusted the condiments. Everything was calm until the front door opened and a figure stepped through. The atmosphere shifted instantly. Rainier's spine stiffened, and Kalwiner dropped the spoon. Ultimate class devil, Rainier whispered, eyes darting toward the entrance. Naruto immediately picked up on the change in energy, as did Sasuke. The 2 shinobi stopped what they were doing and walked over to their girlfriends, motioning for them to sit down. Griffia approached with a regal and graceful stride. Her silver eyes locked on Naruto. Naruto? Sasuke? She addressed coolly. I am Griffia Lucifuge. You are requested at the Occult Research Club immediately. Sasuke raised a brow, unimpressed. Demanded, huh? Naruto glanced at her, calm and unreadable. You're scaring the girls, he said casually. If this is a threat, it won't end well. Graffia's expression didn't change. It's not a threat, merely a directive. Naruto exchanged a look with Sasuke, then nodded. Fine, let's go. Time skip. Back at the Occult Research Club room. The tension in the room could be cut with a kunai. Naruto, Sasuke, Rainier, and Kalwiner entered and took their seats near the back. The moment they sat, Issei's angry glare fixed onto Naruto and Rainier. Graffia stood silently in the corner while Serzex and Seraphol assessed them. Both high-level devils were cloaked with thin veils of power. And Serzex had started to subtly flex his energy, pressing it into the room. Rainier clutched Naruto's sleeve. Kalwiner's hands began to tremble. Sasuke scowled. Naruto's expression didn't change, but his eyes darkened. Serzex finally spoke. We're here because what you did, what you released, was unlike anything we've faced. We need to know who you are, what you are, and what your intentions are in Devil territory. But Naruto had had enough. Hey, asshole, Naruto snapped, his voice sharp and cutting. In case you haven't noticed, my girlfriend is shaking like a leaf because you're trying to measure dicks and intimidate us. You scare her or Kalwiner one more time, and I swear on my ninja way I'll beat your ass into the dirt. The room went silent. Even Akeno's teasing smile vanished. Serzex narrowed his eyes. His energy suddenly focused entirely on Naruto. But Naruto didn't flinch. He stood slowly, took a step forward, and slapped Serzex. A crack echoed through the room as the Satan was flung backwards, caught only by Graffia's quick reflexes. Rainier gasped. Kiba was stunned. Issei looked as though he was about to faint. Serzex wiped the blood from his lip, staring at Naruto in disbelief. Arrogant prick, Naruto said flatly, turning back and wrapping his arms around Rainier. Now, ask your damn questions without the drama. Seraphon's mouth was half open in shock. Graphia stared, unreadable. Sona's peerage watched silently, though Tsubaki's eyes darted between Sasuke and Naruto with new wariness. Sirzex finally straightened, calmer. What are your intentions in Kuo? Naruto leaned back in his seat. I want to run my ramen shop, one day marry my girlfriend, and be left alone. Then he turned toward Issei. And if you glare at me and my girlfriend one more time, I will rip your eyes from your skull. Issei audibly gulped, retreating a step. Sirzex exhaled slowly. Fine. Rias, your last rook piece, give it to me. Rias handed it over without protest. Sirzex held it in one hand, then flooded it with his demonic power. The piece mutated before everyone's eyes, its glow shifting from red to crimson black. With this, you can reincarnate a being stronger than any devil, he said. You should use it soon, today, or tomorrow, or today. Not to be outdone, Seraphon did the same with 4 of Sona's pawn pieces, infusing them with her own power. Rias and Sona stared at their new pieces, then turned toward Naruto and Sasuke. You said before, Rias started, that if we could reincarnate you, you'd consider joining us. Still stands, Naruto said with a shrug. Rainier rolled her eyes. Rias pressed her piece into Naruto's chest. Sona did the same with Sasuke with all 4 of her pawns. Nothing happened. Everyone stared. The pieces didn't absorb, didn't sink in. They were rejected. Naruto smirked. Sasuke looked mildly amused. Didn't think it would work, the Uchiha said calmly. As they turned to leave, Naruto and Sasuke began heading toward the door, their girlfriends close behind. But before they could leave, a voice rang out from the corner. Sasuke! Everyone turned. Tsubaki stood, her cheeks flushed crimson. I've liked you for a long time, she said, trembling but determined. I know I'm not as strong or special as others, but I want to prove I can be a good girlfriend. Just give me a chance. Sasuke blinked, stunned for a second. He sighed, running a hand through his hair. His only hand through his hair. Why are women so obsessed with me? Naruto snorted, cowered, stifled a giggle. But then Sasuke met Tsubaki's eyes. Fine. One chance. Don't waste it. Tsubaki let out a shaky breath she didn't realize she'd been holding. Naruto clapped him on the back as they left. You're a magnet for drama, you know that? Sasuke didn't reply, but the small upward twitch of his lip said enough. And with that, the 4 of them walked out, leaving the devils behind, at least for now. But guys, I'm going to end it off right here. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe while you're at it. Remember, the like goal for today's video is 5 likes. So hit that like button, and you'll get this video faster. But without further ado, I am out, and I will see you guys in the next video. Stay blessed, y'all.